All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on the HDFC Ergo My Optima Secure policy. Now, this isn't just any health plan. It comes with a really interesting promise to build a safety net that doesn't just sit there, but actually grows with you and, get this, rebuilds itself when you need it most. So let's see how that actually works.
Okay, let's kick things off with a feeling I think we all know. That little knot of anxiety when you think about your health insurance. It's that nagging what-if question that kind of creeps into your mind when you imagine a real, serious medical emergency.
So just picture this for a second. You have a policy for, say, 10 lakh rupees. You think you're covered, but then a major hospitalization happens and you're staring at a bill for 20 lakh. That is a terrifying thought, right? And it really shines a spotlight on a major weakness in a lot of traditional health policies.
See, with most plans, your sum insured is just a fixed number. It is what it is. But what if it didn't have to be? What if your coverage was actually designed to be dynamic, to grow on its own and even refill itself after you use it? Well, that's the whole idea behind My Optima Secure. So, how does this policy actually pull that off? How does it build this bigger, smarter safety net? Well, it all comes down to three really powerful built-in benefits that work together to multiply your total coverage in a huge way. First up is something called the Secure benefit. And honestly, it couldn't be simpler or more powerful. If you buy a policy with a 10 lakh base cover, this benefit instantly, from day one, adds another 10 lakh on top of it. Just like that, your effective coverage is doubled. No waiting period, no hoops to jump through.
Then you've got the Plus benefit. Think of this as a guaranteed annual booster shot for your policy to help it keep up with rising medical costs. For the first 2 years, your coverage automatically grows by 50% of your original base amount. And the best part? It happens whether you've made a claim or not. It's a guaranteed boost, period.
And the third piece of the puzzle is the automatic restore benefit. The best way to think about this is like having a health coverage account that magically refills itself. So if you make a claim that uses up some or even all of your coverage, this benefit kicks in and instantly restores 100% of your base amount, making sure you're protected for anything else that might happen in that same year.
So let's see what this looks like when you put it all together. Take a look at this. You start with a base sum of 10 lakh rupees. On the very first day, as you see here, the Secure benefit doubles it. Bam! You're at 20 lakhs. Then after year 1, the Plus benefit adds another 5 lakhs. After year 2, it does it again, adding another 5 lakhs. So your total coverage is now 30 lakhs. That's triple your original cover in just 2 years.
Now, these multipliers are obviously the star of the show, but they're built on top of a really solid foundation. So let's talk about the core, day-to-day coverage you get right out of the gate.
And the key thing to know here is that all the essentials are absolutely covered. We're talking about the whole journey, from medical expenses for up to 60 days before you even get to the hospital, to all your costs while you're there, and then coverage for a full 180 days after you're discharged. It also covers things like daycare treatments, Ayush, and even organ donor expenses. It's comprehensive.
Okay, so beyond that strong built-in coverage, the policy also lets you add extra layers of protection. This is all about being able to tailor your safety net to fit your specific needs and your lifestyle. And this slide really sums up that flexibility perfectly. You start with this really strong base that covers all the critical stuff: surgery, meds, diagnostics. But then you have the power to bolt on optional upgrades for things that are often overlooked, like those pesky non-medical items, or even getting treatment overseas. So let's look at one of the most useful optional upgrades, which is called the Protect benefit. This one tackles a really common source of frustration and, frankly, surprise costs when you're in the hospital.
Oh, this is a big one. So many people get a shock when they get their final bill and see charges for things like gloves, syringes, and other consumables, things they just assumed were covered. Well, the Protect benefit is designed specifically to pay for these non-medical expenses, so you have fewer of those nasty surprises.
Another really powerful option is the Global Health Cover. Now, this is for anyone who travels a lot or who might want the choice of getting planned medical treatment outside of India. It basically extends your safety net across the globe.
All right, to really understand any insurance policy, you have to know the rules of the road. So let's just quickly go through the key points on who's eligible, the waiting periods, and what's not covered.
So the eligibility here is pretty straightforward and broad. Adults can join at 18, and this is a big plus, there's no maximum entry age. For kids, they can be covered from as young as 91 days old all the way up to 25 years old. Now, like any policy, there are some standard waiting periods to be aware of. As you can see, there's a 30-day initial wait for most illnesses right after you start. That's pretty standard. Then, for certain listed procedures like cataracts, it's 24 months.
And finally, for any pre-existing conditions that you've declared, there's a 36-month wait before that specific condition is covered.
And just for complete transparency, it's good to know the standard exclusions. Things like cosmetic surgery that's purely for appearance, any self-inflicted injuries, or treatments related to substance abuse, those are not covered under this policy.
So, after looking at how it multiplies your cover, what it includes day to day, and the rules of the road, what's the big takeaway here? What's the bottom line?
Well, the core idea is that this isn't just a static policy with a fixed number. It's designed to be an adaptive, dynamic health shield. It proactively grows your coverage to keep pace with inflation, and it restores itself after you make a claim, making sure one bad year doesn't leave you vulnerable. And so, we'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a world that feels more and more uncertain, what does real peace of mind look like? What does it feel like to have a financial safety net that doesn't just catch you, but actually rebuilds itself? It's a pretty powerful idea to consider.